Hello, welcome you all to our Brazilian debates. We would like to thank you all for being here with us in this afternoon. And just to um, get a panorama of what's been happening, the Brazilian debates has been created during this difficult times we're living in to talk about different topics that are manifesting themselves throughout these difficult times. So we started the program in the last 2 weeks of July when we had um, two debates, one about social inclusion in Brazil, old and new challenges, and renewable, non-renewable, and sustainability. And then the first 2 weeks in August, we had two more debates, planning cities in uncertain times and contemporary challenges to Brazilian democracy, media, politics, and populism. So we had got together experts from different departments at PUC-Rio. We had people from law, sociology, geography, civil engineering, international relations, architecture, political science, and social communications debating on those topics. And now to go on with the discussions, we are starting our new series of events. So we're gonna have an event every month at the end of the month. So this is the first one. As you can see, the topic is COVID-19 pandemic, challenges for education. And for today's debates, we're gonna have Dr. Zena Eisenberg from our education department and Dr. Gustavo Robiches, who is the Central Coordination for Distance Education at PUC-Rio. So I'll give the room for them so that they can start talking. And let me just finishing sharing this. And Gustavo, you are welcome to start our debate.
Thank you, Ricardo. First of all, I would like to thank Ricardo for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here with Zena to talk a little bit about our experience during the first semester and during the activities that are going on right now. I will share my screen, a short presentation just to guide some discussions. I will be in charge of the perspective of technology and how we deal with the COVID situation, and I will talk about our strategy, what we have accomplished, and what are the ongoing challenges that we have right now to give a perspective for you. The first question that I pose is, what capability do we have today? Going back 6 months, 7 months earlier, on the first week of the announcement of the COVID social distance measures, the first question was, what could we do? What could we deliver now? We didn't have the support for reestablishing the communication between the professors, between the professors and the students. We have a technology for distance learning, but it would not be sufficient to provide the perspective that we have on presential learning. So this was the first question, and then we choose some perspectives and some technologies to support those initiatives. One technology for sure is Zoom, that we are using in this seminar, in this debate, because it's a easygoing technology, but it's not sufficient. Some professors and some students were not used with technology, and we have to promote several seminars, several dialogue initiatives to to introduce those tools and to introduce alternatives to conducting an alternative to presential learning. I think that there are several critical components to be discussed. It includes strategy, it includes organizational policy, and also budget, and also technology in a broad sense. But I will focus on 3 dimensions. One is the content availability. The second one is the student support. The students need support, and Professor Zina will talk about several initiatives that took place in PUC during the first semester, and they continue right now. And the third one, it was our focus in the first moment, was all the faculty and the staff support, introducing technology, introducing distance learning approaches, reestablishing the communication as a first step, as I commented in the beginning of the speech. And it was really hard because it was not only the absence of the presence, but also the situation that COVID provoke on all the society, and for sure the combination of different strategies, including how to support the sharing, not sharing, but the distribution of content, and also how to hear students about their difficulties and what were going on in their lives. This is an unique experience, and were not prepared, in my opinion, to deal with all the challenges that were proposed. We have to establish priorities and to choose what we could do at that moment. So the first phase during the first semester was we had to assess all the capabilities that we have on the university to support the continuity of education in a broad sense, keep education going on, and dealing with what we could call immediate actions to urgent initiatives, and also to bring all the professors and all the students to this new environment that was not an option. In my opinion, it was an alternative that was possible at that point. What we call as second phase is what we are dealing during this second semester, because we are still online. We do not have presential activities. We need to give focus on quality and to expand the activities to support more initiatives that were not possible during the first semester. If we can think about the future, we do not have all the information right now to decide what will continue after the end of the pandemic. But for sure, some experience that we have had during this experience will continue and will change the way that the university deals with education. In the technology perspectives, I would like to pay more attention in 3 categories. The first one is, for sure, it was really important to have a learning management system to support a single point of connection for the students to get access all over the material where they could submit work, share. The professors could share assignments and many other activities. One important step was we didn't have at the beginning of the first semester all the material available. We are a traditional university in a sense that most of the activities were presential during traditional classrooms, Blackboard and all the activities that were conducted presential. So most of the work of the faculty staff was to produce and share content to support the learning experience of the students, including not only video, not only but materials, text references, and many other contents that were provided. And the third dimension that is really important is technology to support collaboration in a synchronous or asynchronous perspectives. Asynchronous were traditional instruments that we have, like forums, quizzes, or whatever the teachers and the professors want to introduce, but it includes and it was a really important strategy, a quick win, in my opinion, strategy was support an easy technology to provide means of exchanging and also to communicate with the students, with all the drawbacks that Zina will share with us in a near future. Discussing continuity of education, we can think technology as several building blocks, including many dimensions that I didn't mention. But in a first perspective, it's really important to understand on what are the outcomes and what do we intend by using those technologies. And we have promoted several initiatives that includes faculty and staff training, several, and this is one dimension that PUC needs to invest more, is on how to foster communication and how to turn those communications into more productive way. I really believe that collaboration is one key challenge for the future of education. Collaboration between students, collaboration between faculty and students, collaboration between the society and the university in an open sense. For sure, this third outcome is really important, in my opinion. Content is one important discussion, and the alternatives that we have. Some students have different backgrounds and economic conditions, so some of them do not have the quality internet connection. So if we based our experience using videos, it would not work. In some cases, some students didn't get the best experience that we provided, and Zina will talk about it later. And for sure, we need to share alternatives and how to better organize our courses and our disciplines, our seminars. And I think that one thing that will keep in the future is the sense of collaboration that all the university developed during this past semester. For sure, each one of those dimensions, capability, communication, collaboration, content, and courses, in a broad sense, you have different levels of maturity, including professors that keep their existing models and try to put them working on online education. It worked. Probably not as well as it could be if they have the options to keep the traditional approach with a face-to-face interaction, but without alternative, it's the alternative that we have. I would like to pay more attention on content. I observed several initiatives in different faculties involving trying to give and to provoke more collaboration and more interaction between the students and between the students of different in PUC we are organized as departments, but the correct translation is not departments, it's like faculties. And there were many initiatives that provoked open classes and open initiatives. And I observed different students with different backgrounds. A lot of students working with engineering students in some scenarios. And I think that this experience was possible, not intentionally provoked by the COVID, but it was a collateral that is important to pay attention in a broad sense. And I made a small video, and I will take 1 minute, and I would like to share. It's about the perspective of the use of the technology during the first semester in PUC, paying more attention to the impact of Zoom and all the ecosystem of technology that we have. I will just in a few.
More than ever, in 2020, the university had to reinvent itself. Our PUC-Rio community was united in this transition to online and open to innovation. The vision was clear: never stop learning, ever top learning. And so we did. We continued to deliver the academic excellence of our institution, overcoming all challenges. Our partnership with Zoom enabled a true revolution in online education. Today, PUC-Rio offers over 3,000 live courses, in addition to promoting hundreds of seminars and open classes throughout the country. Our continuous learning journey began with training and capacitation programs for students and teachers, and was strengthened by the adoption, integration, and development of new tools. Introduction to classroom collaboration tools such as Miro, Jamboard, and Google Presentation, combined with Zoom breakout rooms. Integration of Zoom and Moodle, the LMS used at the university. Events via Zoom, streaming to YouTube and Vimeo. Use of the Zoom and Vimeo APIs for automatic migration of recordings. Created a manual on privacy, copyright, and security issues to foster understanding and compliance with national rules. We have also developed a new platform, ECOA, aligned with our lifelong learning proposal, with an undying search for multidisciplinarity where multiple university areas offer content. PUC-Rio is leading the digital transformation of education. We are creating a solid ecosystem of partners for this journey and offering our students a digital education with experiences and content of academic excellence as befits the best private university in Brazil.
Just a small retrospective what we did on the technology perspective during the first semester journey.
More than ever in 2020.
Some numbers about the first semester. The first one is about the number of hits that we got on several tools that we have. It's over 10 million hits. It's a huge number. during the first week of this semester, we got 2 million hits. So the pace is more is stronger now than it was in the first semester. There, we have promoted several web conferences. We have promoted several interactions using video contents and several webinars. And I think that part of this number shows how the whole university faculty members and also students engaged during the first semester. And as a first, as the last comment that I have, we have several lessons that we have learned. So some of them are summarized here. I think that we need to pace and to try to harmonize the synchronous and asynchronous activity. Because it's new for our students. Some of these experience is new for the professors also. So it's important to try to understand the whole context, not only the discipline that you're conducting. I think that one lesson that was really important. We have several systems at our university, but one good practice is to make the LMS as a starting point for the learning journey of the students, and by these starting points, linking to other tools. We believe that we have to orient this first step, but the journey is open to the imagination of the teacher and the experience with their students. It's really important to give this freedom to provoke special journeys. We are working on several templates to help the faculty members to support better experience and also sharing their experience between themselves. And I really believe that there is a gap to promote the more engagement of our students, and probably it will involve more planning, more dialogue between the students and the professors. And it's an open journey. We have several challenges open right now. Probably Zina will talk about them later. And there is a final invitation for you all. ECOA is an open platform. Everyone can get access, even people from outside our university. It's a way to get in contact with what is happening in our campus. And I think that is one of the things that will keep in the future whenever it arrives. So Ricardo, thank you very much. These were my final comments.
Okay, thank you, Gustavo. So we're gonna give room then to Zena, who is gonna actually make a comment and move on to her own presentation. Zena, please.
Hi, thank you again. Well, not again, but thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here and to see you all. So I'm supposed to ask a question, and I really enjoyed your presentation, Gustavo, and especially the video was very inspiring. And you should make a version in Portuguese so we can divulge the work, because it's really good. So my question to you is, Gustavo and I belong to another network, which is called Haji, which is a network in support of professors. So he occupies himself with the technological part, and we worry about relationship with students and so on and so forth. So I have been following his work since the pandemic started, and I'm really impressed by how much he has accomplished in so little time. And you know, you just started in this job coordinating the distance learning not long ago, so it's really admirable what you've done.
2 weeks before, Zina, the
2
pandemic.
weeks, right? Really? No.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. My nomination
Wow.
was March 2nd.
Okay, but I met you before that. So
Yeah,
you had
yeah, for sure,
okay,
for sure.
okay. So yeah, so it was a huge challenge to get familiarized with the new job and to care for, you know, 13,000 students, or, you know, 2,000 professors. I don't know how many we are. But my question to you is, your role has become very central in the university in terms of providing for all of us to do online learning. And there were many hurdles, such as the one you talked about, you know, some professors are not that familiar with technology, with the new technologies, or with Zoom, and some students are not familiar either. So what do you think is going to change after the pandemic? What do you think is going to be different in professor styles of teaching, and in the use that PUC is going to make of either online learning or distance learning? Because I think online learning is not something that existed before the pandemic. So it's a new modality that's really working from my standpoint, and that has opened up so many possibilities. Like, you know, when you work in graduate studies, you can invite people from all over the world to be in the committee for students' doctoral defense or master's defense presentation. You can organize an event and invite lots of people who don't live nearby, and you don't have to pay for their tickets and hotel and all that. So it really changed our frame of mind. So my question is, what do you think? You know, from your standpoint, what's going to change in teaching in universities? I'm not even going to discuss school because that's not where we're at, but just university teaching.
I think that we will have to rethink what is the usage of the space in the university. I think that I miss a lot face-to-face interactions, and it's the technology will not change the importance of the direct contact between teachers and students in a broad sense. And but the traditional classroom, in my opinion, will change dramatically. Activities, content activities, just sharing content, just giving traditional lessons will have less space, in my opinion. We will probably make what we could call hybrid approaches, where you combine online education with face-to-face activities, and there is a huge space to experimentation, because in my opinion we choose online education because we didn't have option of doing an alternative way. Was not an option. But returning to campus, we will have to discuss all the spaces that we have. Traditional classrooms, the blackboard, the chairs, the relation, sometimes professors in as the principal role in the will not take the place that it was before. I think that we are having, in my opinion, one important issue is multidisciplinarity discussion. It's easier to connect people with different backgrounds, people with the international collaboration, in my opinion, will also have a dramatic change, because it's easier to invite someone outside Brazil to give a small talk with and for sure the Brazilians will have more contact with those experiences. So I really believe that we will make more networks and more interactions inside the university and outside the university with other universities. So we have to rethink all the spaces, the experience, the time that each discipline takes. Traditionally in PUC, we have a 2-hour period each day. I think that it might not be as before, because it doesn't make sense. And it's having a 1 hour meeting probably is really impactful in a way that to establish interactions, and so many things will change. And I really believe that hybrids and the combination and the technology inside the classroom, also just to give feedback, just to give other experiences, will have an important role in the future.
Great. Yeah, we'd have to work first on student autonomy so that they can
and the role of the
without
students,
relying so much on the professor.
In my opinion, one important thing is the importance of the students and the journey. Probably will give more attention on hearing, on getting feedback, and also personalizing the experience, giving more directions, more and preparing them for the real world. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm. Great. I think it will be a new transition going back, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Many adaptations, resistance, and
and that people got the experience, because in the past some students or professors got some opinions without having the experience. Now they have, with all the pitfalls, with all the bad experiences and the good experiences also. So I think that the discussions and the option to make online or offline will be more conscious.
Mm-hmm.
You have more facts to discuss the good and the bad points about them.
Okay.
Then I think it's your time to talk.
I know, it's my turn. Okay. Okay. What I'm prepared for today is to talk about psychopedagogical impact on online teaching. And so I'm going to present briefly what we have been doing in terms of psychopedagogy. I belong to this network called HI. It basically means Student Support Network, and it has different fronts. I mean, it includes different centers in PUC that already existed before, and we just got together and trying to be a stronger support for students. So we offer psychological counseling, psychopedagogical counseling. We offer support for students with special needs, and we offer support specifically for students in the exact sciences who have different issues in many senses and same issues in other senses. So we all give support to students in exact sciences, but they do have other kinds of support as well. The center that I belong to specifically and that I am the coordinator of is called NOAPI, which basically means Psychopedagogical Center for Advising and Counseling. And there we offer 3 different services to students. One is a psychopedagogical, another one is reading and writing. We offer private classes for students who are struggling with language comprehension or with producing texts for academic texts for their classes. And we also help them think or rethink their career choice. So in Brazil, different from other places, when you enter university, you already made your career choice before you enter. So you may regret that choice because you're still very young, and what you learn in high school is not directly related to what is in university. There are many different possibilities. So once you get acquainted with those different possibilities, you might want to change your career. And so we have that kind of counseling. And these are all free services for students. But today I'm going to discuss only the psychopedagogical service that we provide, which is what I'm going to discuss in relation to that are the differences between face-to-face and online classes, the inequality that Gustavo mentioned, and that has been a really big issue in terms of this new form of teaching. Thinking about studying techniques and habits, and the role of psychopedagogy in the transition from face-to-face to online teaching. So firstly, face-to-face classes, we have some pros and cons. I tried to put together some. If you may think of others, please, let me know afterwards. But the pros that I saw in face-to-face classes are you have visual feedback from students. In other words, you can see if they're sleeping in your class, or if they're really interested, or if they're looking at their cell phone. So you have a panorama of what's going on in terms of how well your class is being received by students. You also have verbal feedback, so students participate more in face-to-face classes. You have more interaction among students, so they discuss with each other, they help each other understand some point that they missed, and between the students and the professors. You have hallway conversations, study groups, the library, which is something students have said to miss as a place to study. The campus per se, has many different meeting points, restaurants, and etc. And you also have less assignments, which has been one of the complaints we have heard from students, is that when we went to online teaching, the professors felt the need to fill some kind of void and exaggerated in the amount of assignments that they are giving students, which has been really hard to keep up with. The cons of face-to-face classes would be tardiness, because classes at PUC start at 7 in the morning. And so many students, Rio is a metropolitan city with many cities in the surroundings. So students come from far, they go into traffic, they sometimes take 3 hours to get to PUC, which means they have to be in the bus by 4 in the morning. So it is complicated to have classes at 7 in the morning. And PUC only keeps doing that because of space issues, physical space issues. And so I see online teaching as something that we can think about in terms of this, one of the biggest issues we have at PUC, which is physical space. So now we have different spaces, online spaces. Anyway, that's a different discussion. But so if the student has some kind of illness or doesn't feel well, they miss class. As on the other hand, in online classes, they can still attend class because all they have to do is turn on their computer or their cell phone. They don't even have to participate or show their face. So we also have issues with sleep with students who live far away and come to class at 7 in the morning. They're usually very tired. Some of them doze off in the classroom. So we have concentration and attention issues that are issues that students bring. In online classes, we get more written comments. So students do use the chat mode in Zoom. And that's good for shy students who don't want to lift their hands and say something. They can feel more comfortable with writing it down. We have less issues with punctuality, so students show up in time since they don't have to deal with traffic or sleep. And they get more sleep, so they have more disposition to attend classes. The cons are having to share technology with other family members, less verbal contributions from other students, so they don't get to talk to each other in class as they do when it's face-to-face. None or very little visual contact, since usually students keep their camera closed. Not all of them, but that's very common. Less interaction among students or between students and professor. Online classes we found are more tiring, which is not something that we had foreseen, but both professors and students complained a lot about how tired they are from sitting in front of a computer hours on end. So that is an issue that comes up a lot. Environmental issues, family, pets, TV, phone, neighbors, things that, life is happening in the house. Easily tempted to spend more time on social media. That's something we hear from students, is that since they're home, they're on the computer, so it's very tempting to go into social media, which is less true when you're at the university doing all the other stuff you do. And many more assignments is another thing I already mentioned. So if you can think of any other differences, let me know. In terms of inequality, that has been a huge issue, and PUC has tried to make things better by lending computers to students, by raising money from both professors and people from outside of PUC, trying to buy internet connection for students who don't have access to, or computers. So there has been a whole movement towards lessening that inequality, which is really hard because there are many factors to take into account. And even when students do have a computer, they are competing with other members of the family, either family members who have to work on that computer, or other siblings who also have to be on the computer. So even if they do have a computer, they're not equipped to this new reality. Different environmental conditions among students is also something that we've noticed. It's not just the technology, but also the physical space they live in. So students who are wealthier have their own bedroom, and they can study in there and close it, and they don't hear the noise from the rest of the house. Students who are poorer will have problems with either having their own room, or the noise around them, or having to share, study in the living room, because that's where the internet connection is. So we've had both technological and physical hurdles that are a reflection of inequality. So the study, hang on a second. The studying techniques and habits of students, we see a difference between when they're having classes at home and when they're having classes at the university. When they're having classes at home, they're studying throughout the day. I mean, they're at home, either they're taking classes or they're studying for the classes, but they also have chores to do. They complain they don't have a time schedule, so they don't know when is study time and when is leisure time, because it all gets mingled together. They study alone. They don't have the possibility of doing study groups as they do at the university. And when they have classes at the university, they make use of the library because it's a silent place. They also make use of the outdoors in PUC to study. They do a lot of group studying. They study in the evening when they're at home. They have a more structured schedule, in that they go to PUC and then they come home. So they know when they're supposed to work and to study, and when they're supposed to have leisure. It's easier to manage their time when it's presential or face-to-face classes. So what the psychopedagogical counseling does is help students think about a new routine. So, things have changed. How can I adjust and how can I build a new routine for myself, new schedule? They help organize their study habits. They help coordinate studies with house chores, so, and leisure time. They help manage distractions, which are very common when you're studying at home. They help keep them sane, which is something that the counselors told me that, they feel like they're going crazy. So the psychopedagogical counseling tries to bring them back to normalcy, or to, it's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be anxious because everybody's going through this and it's normal. It's the new normal, right? Helps them keep impatience and anxiety in check. During the pandemic, we had 258 students seeking help from HIE. And of those, 152 needed psychopedagogical help. So nearly 60% of the students who was looking for help needed help in terms of adjusting and organizing their new schedule and their study habits, and managing their time, and so on and so forth. So what were the issues that students brought during the pandemic? Almost half of them talk about difficulty with planning and with organization. As I said, the new normal brought the need for a new kind of planning and organization. 31% brought emotional problems due to the pandemic or aggravated by the pandemic. And then we have other issues which weren't as substantive, personal issues, financial difficulties, and so on. More specifically, they do have a lot of trouble elaborating their study schedule, keeping it regular, defining their priorities, learning how to use technology to their advantage. They have difficulty keeping up with online classes, difficulty with concentration, and connecting to other students and to the professor. So what has changed? I asked my counselors, what changed before the pandemic and after the pandemic about their issues? And they said nothing. Their issues are still the same, but they are bigger in terms of, before they needed help organizing their time and organizing their life. Now, all that they had been trying to do is gone, so they have to start over again. But it's still organizing and managing their time. The context of learning also changed. So their problems, were restricted to home and to school. Now it's a worldwide phenomenon. People are dying. So things that are happening are generating depression and anxiety. Fear of what the future holds, what's going to happen tomorrow. Concerns about health and finances. Social isolation is something that is being discussed now that we're approaching the vaccine, having the vaccine, and people are worried now about, will we be able to come out of this isolation? Will we need to adapt to a new kind of reality, and a lot of loss. Students have suffered loss of relatives, friends, and acquaintances, and that also triggers anxiety and depression. So that's it. These are my contacts, information, and that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Zena. So, Gustavo, do you have any comments to make over Zena's presentation?
Yeah. First of all, I would like to say that it was really important to have all the activities of HIE and HADI working together to complement different perspectives of the universities, and the numbers are really important, and also give us any insight for the futures, I think that my question is about the future. What do you think is it's important to prepare the return of the university to a new normal, in a sense that probably will combine online and face-to-face activities? I would like to hear about what do you think it's important for to consider observing pedagogical concerns and also the students' perspectives, that we are here for the students, in my opinion, and it's really important to understand what will work for them.
One of our concerns about students is especially the new students, both in graduate or postgraduate and undergraduate. We see that people who entered in the beginning of the year or who are entering now are completely lost. They have no idea what PUC is about, what it looks like, who are the people in their department. They are really lost. So we've had a meeting with some postgraduate students last week, and mostly the students who showed up are students who are trying to find some kind of belonging. And so I'm most concerned about them. I think they will be the happiest to go back and to finally get it. They feel like they haven't really started school, you know, at PUC. But also the other students, I think that there might be a huge transition because, as I said, you know, they have established a new routine where they don't have to get up early, they can get more sleep, they can attend 7 o'clock classes. I mean, what I hear from Daniela Vargas, who is our central coordinator, is that students are, this semester, they're taking many more courses than they used to because they feel like they can do it. You know, I'm home, so I don't have to be on the bus or on the subway, so I can take more courses, and nobody's taking attendance, and you know, so they're just taking on more responsibilities, which is dangerous because they might be surprised at what they can or cannot do. So I think there might be some resistance from students in terms of readapting to the new routine and to going back to getting up early and doing the, but I think they will be really happy to go and be in the social environment again, which professors also, I think, will be very happy to do. So I think HI, you know, or NOAPI, or this, you know, the support services at PUC have as a goal to help that transition. I'm gonna stop talking because my dogs are gonna start barking.
Okay, Zena, thank you for sharing those impressions. So again, I just would like to remind you all that if you had any questions, you should write on our chat. And I would like to ask a question myself. I don't know which one of you, but one thing that I've noticed in classes is that Zena even mentioned it, is the isolation that the students are feeling right now. And do you have any data on how students are trying to fight that isolation, if they have implemented, I don't know, WhatsApp groups or any kind of initiatives that would make it easier for them to cope with classes and cope with this isolation they're living in? Do you have any idea of how they're trying to deal with it?
Not really. I think that we should collect data on what's going on because I only have informal reports of them having groups on WhatsApp and using the groups on WhatsApp intensely to collaborate with each other. But it's only informal. I don't think the central coordination did a research last semester, right, Gustavo? Trying to figure out what technological conditions students had, and but we need to do another one now because a follow-up study, not only on technology, but also well-being, you know. I think it's very important.
Being is a really important issue, because I think that digital and the isolation, digital does not is not equal to the relations and the belonging that Zina commented. That's really important. I think that the sense of the university is one of the perspectives, and one of the most important perspectives are the relations that takes places in our campus, the relations between professors and the students, the relations between the students, because they have a sense of team that I think the digital will not take place, will not substitute the experience that we have in our campus. So I think that this is a good questions, and it deserves a more deep study on how to deal with it.
Okay, so our time is already up. So one last question to Zena is, do you think it got worse in the second semester as the students were expecting to go back to campus?
I don't think the students were expecting to go back to campus. I think PUC made it very clear last semester that we weren't. So, I mean, I think the second semester is worse because it's sad to be one more semester in isolation and to know that you're going to be in isolation. And I think people have been disobeying that isolation because of that. You know, Rio is going into the streets and to the beaches and trying to live a normal life with a mask on or not. But I don't think the students had the illusion of being back to PUC. I think Daniela made it very clear that that wouldn't happen. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I hope they're not disappointed because it is what it is.
Right. Okay, Zena, thank you very much. Thank you both, Zena and Gustavo, for the talk. We'll pass the word on to Dr. Angela Paiva, who is the head of the international office at PUC-Rio, so that she can say a few words. Angela, with you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, first of all, I'm sorry for being late. I was trying to join the meeting with my other email, but I think we had a wonderful discussion with two very important professors at the university. Gustavo took over just before he was really needed in order to have the transition from in-person classes to online classes. And Zena has done a wonderful job in supporting students. And so it's really very, we're lucky to have you both on campus at this time of this hard time. And on behalf of the International Cooperation Office, I want to thank you very much for this nice talk, okay?
Okay, thank you, Angela. So before we leave, I just would like to share with you one last screen. And so I would like you to remember that we're gonna have 2 more debates. So please save the dates for October the 29th and November the 26th. So we're gonna be here again. And it's going to be a surprise. We're going to display the information soon, but we hope to have you all here with us on those dates. So thank you very much for participating on our Brazilian debates today, and I hope to see you soon. Okay? Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.